Kyle Bass joins us, founder and chief investment officer at Hayman Capital Management. I think this is apocryphal, this Mark Twain quote, that if voting made a difference, they wouldn't let us do it. I don't think that's true. I don't think he said that, but it's kind of funny. Sometimes we feel that way, don't we? Does this make a difference with our China relations, what happens in the midterms, Kyle?
I really don't think so, Joe. I think you guys mentioned earlier in this broadcast that we are seeing, the one place in D.C. where we can get a bipartisan consensus is things related to China, things related to Taiwan and Hong Kong and basic human rights. When you look at the votes that have happened in our legislature, they're kind of unanimous with, let's say, protecting U.S. national security and projecting our own empathy and our love for human rights.
Yeah. What you do for a living in your worldview, which we talk about a lot, and I think we talk more about your worldview really than what you do for a living. What's at stake in your view with what happens in the next couple of days, the kind of results that come in? What could change? What's important to you?
I think, the fact that we're going to see a pretty substantial red wave. I think the Senate ends up at least with 52 Republicans, if not more. And I think that the House ends up with 30 House seats or more on the Republican side. So it's important to note that, this concept of inflation and economy is polling number one across the board. And I think that those polls show you that some of the policies, you've been talking about policies, I think, with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce earlier. We still don't have an energy transition policy. Europe has been resigned to just simply put price caps in place and do nothing about supply. We're seeing the New Hampshire Senate race actually turn Republican in the polls after being +5 Democrat because of a heating oil and distillate crisis. And we have some really stupid things going on in our country on the energy side that we've got to get right. And I think this midterm is going to be a referendum to a certain extent on inflation, but as a large part of that, it's not having a proper energy plan.
And that plays into our place in the world and our security in the world. And you don't have to look any further than Ukraine and Vladimir Putin and China and everything else. I mean, we're in a much weaker position, the West, based on what you just described. I don't know if the midterm changes that or not. I don't know what we're going to be able to do. President Biden still has the power of the pen and the executive order, so nothing's going to change over the next 2 years.
Well, I mean, when you think about who's changing things, the U.S. isn't saber rattling. There's this concept that Biden says, well, we will rush to Taiwan's aid in the event of a Chinese invasion, and then the White House backs that down. I think the White House is doing something proper with its strategic ambiguity, right? China doesn't know which way is up or down in our response. So I think that's a deliberate, let's just say, changing of signals between the White House and the president. I think that was deliberate. So what's happening is China at every moment is ratcheting things tighter and kind of squeezing the noose around Taiwan. They used to run a zone defense, and then post Crimea, they went to a man defense, and post Pelosi, they're going to full court press man defense in the Taiwan Strait. So I think if you read the not only the tea leaves, but if you read Xi Jinping's working papers from the 20th Party Congress, they actually moved the goalposts on what it would take to invade Taiwan.